So I've seen the first 5 episodes of Peacemaker season 2, with there being a total of 8. If I had to be honest with you, at one point I was worried and had some interesting things to say about James Gunn. This is a super duper hard R, probably the most R-rated comic book adaptation I've seen. It's up there, top 3 for sure. And this will also be a non-spoiler review. It's also clear to me that James Gunn has so much more creative freedom as the co-CEO of DC Studios than he had before. Timestamps are in the description box. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. All right, guys, now we have Peacemaker Season 2, which will be available to stream on Max Thursday, August the 21st. This is directed, written, produced, created by Mr. James Gunn, who was recently with Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy, but he is now with DC as the co-CEO with Peter Safran. He did the Suicide Squad in 2021, and that is important, and also was a part of Creature Commandos. And if you did not know, if you was living under a rock, Superman, which recently came out as well, which is super duper important. Now, my expectations for this series for season 2 was pretty high. I really did enjoy season 1, even though that was a number of years ago. I don't remember everything other than me really liking it a lot. I was a bit disappointed with the Superman film, even though it was a good movie. I did enjoy it. I just wanted more. I didn't think there was a real sense of danger and really that much stakes. And I just thought that the tone was completely different from everything that James has done thus far in the DC, again, with Peacemaker season 1 and the Suicide Squad. But going into this, I still had high hopes because I knew it was going to connect directly with Superman, which is still in theaters right now, and just further expand the new DC universe. I mean, come on, that's just very exciting if you're into this type of thing. And again, I've only seen the first 5 episodes. There's a total of 8, so there's 3 left. And I'm really eager to see how everyone else feels about this as well. So before I get into all the nitty gritty, before I talk about all my likes and dislikes, let me tell you exactly what Peacemaker Season 2 is all about. Picking up where the Suicide Squad 2021 left off, Peacemaker returns home after recovering from his encounter with Bloodsport, only to discover that his freedom comes at a price. So just starting things off, it's great. The energy is the same. It feels like there are stakes immediately. This automatically fits into Superman. You might as well just call this a direct sequel to that film in a way. And you're just excited. You're ready to be in this world and go on this adventure and just to kind of see what the next chapter is in this DC universe. There are characters that are in the Superman movie that are in this show immediately, even before the episode starts. In its intro, kind of like its recap of season 1. It doesn't just recap season 1, it kind of delves into the Superman movie as well. So all the connective tissue is just really exciting within like the first 60 seconds of the series. They also immediately establish what canon is, and I'm not sure if Blue Beetle is still going to be canon or not, but of course Superman is canon. That's very obvious. Peacemaker season 1, Creature Commandos, the animated series that was on Max, and also the Suicide Squad, which came out in 2021, that James Gunn directed as well. I was not aware of that going into this movie. I thought that that was being retconned or ignored, but that is canon as well. And if I just have to go back, I said that Peacemaker season 1 is canon. And if you go back and look at the last episode of that season, when they do defeat the bad guys at the end on the farm, on the barn, who shows up? What team? Well, how is that canon if that's the old DCEU? And so this has already been reported on, but there may have been some editing or some retcon in there. And that's very exciting as well. And just kind of the intro of this season 2 of Peacemaker and makes it that much more exciting. It's very funny in the beginning as well. I did laugh out a lot. Again, I said it is very clear to me that James Gunn has much more creative freedom, and that is good and bad, because seeing Peacemaker now is great. He's more of a hero, and you also feel sorry for him for everything that he went through in season 1. His dad was evil and he had to kill him, and he's not just over that. he's still dealing with that, and everyone else surrounding him as well. All the characters are back with the addition of some new ones, being Tim Meadows as Langston Fury. Hilarious guy back from the 90s. He was the ladies' man, a Saturday Night Live skit that was funny to me. And also Frank Grillo is Rick Flag Sr. But by the time we end up at the end of the first episode, I wasn't too thrilled with where we was going with the story. Not that it was executed in a poor manner, because that's not the case. The quality is still there as well as the energy, as I stated before. But me personally, as a fan of comic book materials, superhero materials, and all the lore, there's just other things that I want to see in my storytelling at this point of a new cinematic universe than where they're going. And with episode 1 and going into episode 2, there were a number of moments that did make me very, very uncomfortable. I don't understand why there was such a weird infatuation with sex in the first couple of episodes. There is no way in the world that a regular audience can go from watching the Superman film that's in theaters to Peacemaker season 2 and it be a smooth transition. You have a soft PG-13 film to one of the most R-rated films that's ever been produced, or R-rated shows that's ever been produced in Hollywood. And even if James Gunn felt that certain scenes was necessary when it comes to sex, that you have to turn it all the way up to the highest level. I mean, you could have just dialed it back just a little bit, but me personally, I don't want to see grown men and women pleasuring themselves full frontal nude in the camera. But if you're going to do this, let it have a reason, let it serve a purpose. And I didn't think it did. And not just with one particular scene, with another character, Tim Meadows, Langston Fury. I don't understand the sexual tension that he was brewing up with certain characters in this other scene in episode 2. Again, I just thought it was unnecessary and a bit weird. Now, going back to John Cena, Peacemaker, on a positive note, I've loved everything that they done with his character in season 2, from episode 1 to all the way to episode 5. I have no issues there. He is really going on a journey and trying to reach that next level of development. It's as far as being a better person, a better partner as far as this romance is concerned, and being a better hero. I mean, I respect that all the way. He's normal. He has feelings. He has emotions. He has everything that you have and deserves to have a nice, fulfilling life. And it's difficult for him right now, even though he has a lot of resources. I mean, his brother's dead. He had to murder his father. And those are things that you're just not going to get through overnight. And I am enjoying this journey alongside with him as he's working through all of that. It's just the territory that he's in while going through it, I'm just not a fan of. And going back to the supporting characters, we have Harcourt, we have Adebayo, Eagly, John, Economos. I like them, but in episode 2 or 3, they're not really doing anything. They're just existing, wasting time, not really contributing to the plot and the story. I mean, we're seeing their personalities and them acting silly and goofy and just them being themselves, but they're not going anywhere with it because we're waiting on Peacemaker to come back. The characters split up and I enjoy them when they're interacting together. Much of it is just a bunch of wasted screen time. For example, when you have a main character or any character that has a meeting at some corporate or office building, they park their car or they pull up to valet. The door is open for them. They're greeted as they go in. They go check in with security. They give their name. It takes 5 to 7 seconds. They get cleared to go up to the elevator, etc. We've seen that a million times. But in this, you will have that same scene. But instead of just checking in with security, they'll have a full-fledged 3-4 minute conversation about what they're going to have for lunch and then have the characters go upstairs. And you're just sitting there like, what was the point of that? That serve no purpose at all. And the supporting characters are doing things like that. Besides John Economos, he did have something to do, but there were just a lot of unnecessary ad-libbing when it came to his character, and also Langston Fury. However, by the end of the 3rd episode, it did grab me emotionally. I was on board at that point much more and just really looking forward to where the story was going. Another standout character for me in this series was Eagly. I really did enjoy Eagly, the eagle. He stood out. Unlike anything he did in the first season, one of my favorite characters. And also Michael Rooker. I liked his involvement in this. He's been with James Gunn since the very beginning, since Slither, Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, those two are always pairing up, and they do a great job. And Michael Rooker, you know, he was somewhat of an antagonist, anti-hero-ish character, but it was silly. It was fun. It was the James Gunn humor that I did appreciate. Just a very, very nice mixture of that. So good stuff there. This series is very violent as well. It's hard R. You're going to get the sex, you're going to get the nudity, but you're going to get the gore and the blood. At one point in episode 2, I was eating and I had to turn the episode off because it was just too much for me. And guys, we have seen bodies explode and heads being cut off all the time, but it's also how the situation is handled after that. Like, what is being done with the body? Is there respect for it? Or are you just treating it as it's just a piece of trash? And when you mix those elements together, you know, you can either sit through it or have to turn away in disgust. And for me, it was the latter, unfortunately. I just was not able to handle it. I had to come back and play the episode at another time when my food settled. So just a fair warning to you guys out there if you are a bit squeamish. I also like the set of stakes that was established within this series. There's somewhat of a MacGuffin, and MacGuffins can pass or fail depending on the mechanics behind it. Is it as easy as flipping on a light switch on and off, or is there a process that you have to go through that's lengthy, complicated, and drawn out just to go from A to B? And in this case, it's the latter as well. And I really did appreciate that. You can't just jump over the line to accomplish this goal or reach the next level. You know, there are some consequences that you're going to have to pay when it has to deal with technology. It was in the trailer and it has to deal with this portal. I like the whole mystery surrounding that. And also within that, it goes back and answers questions that the first season had and never addressed. Like in season 1, and I'll go ahead and spoil that, John Cena's father, Peacemaker's father in the series, had a door to another dimension. How did he obtain this type of technology? That is addressed in season 2. So again, I do appreciate that. I do appreciate the lore. I will say that the season is very unpredictable as well. There was no way I saw what was coming next or around the corner. And besides all the violence, kick-ass action, etc., you know, there are a lot of warm, touching moments between friends and family that a lot of people will be able to relate to as well. So after episode 3 got me emotionally, episode 4 was much better. I really did enjoy myself and was really excited with the direction that the season was headed, with the supporting characters coming back together, having a point in their actions and serving Peacemaker. It was like they was coming together in their own little Avengers team as well. And then by the end of episode 5, I was fully on board, just saying to myself, okay, I didn't think that I was going to enjoy myself at this point with where they're going in the story, the territory and environment that they're in. But this is a nice launching point for the rest of the series, for the remaining 3 episodes. There's a lot of hope, and man, my goodness, I really do hope that they can stick the landing. I will also say that's great about this season is it does not feel like watching this series, this season is a requirement, is homework for you to understand what is going on in the DCU. This feels like the movies will affect the shows, but the shows will not affect the movies. And that's very, very important. And while I stated earlier that I wasn't really a fan of the territory they were in this season, if we had to see that in our comic book stories and our lore, would I rather see that in films or the TV series adaptations? I would rather see them in the TV series than the film. So if we're gonna get it, this is the proper placement for it. Overall, guys, the series is solid. It's more than solid, but I've only seen the first 5 episodes. And by the end of episode 5, I was satisfied. I was enjoying myself. I was like, okay, this is a nice point right here. They look like they're gonna stick the landing. We have 3 episodes to go. It started out great, got a little rocky with episodes 2 and 3, but by the end of 3, I was on board and it was just going up, you know, the which way we're going. It was just going up from there. So I feel kind of weird trying to give a rating for this at this point, but I'm going to do so anyway. So if I were to rate the first 5 episodes of Peacemaker season 2, I'll give it a 8 out of 10. Yes, an 8 out of 10. Hopefully they can rise to a 9, 9.5, but that just depends on the last 3 episodes. But guys, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that I'm B. Avery. That's just my opinion. Peace. And I'll see you next time.